We're going to be talking about Havoc Demon Hunter survivability in Arena. If you're clicking on this video, you know that Havoc Demon Hunters aren't the best at surviving in Arena at the moment. In a 2v2 situation, you're practically forced to play with a healer, um, assuming you're not playing with a class that can off heal and they have like an idea of what they're doing, but for the purposes of the video, we'll just assume that you're playing with a healer and you're just waiting for your cooldowns. Um, Something that Demon Hunters have that not a lot of classes have is an excessive amount of mobility. So what that means is they can kite their opponents around easier. If you're new, kiting just means you're running around and preventing the enemy player from attacking you. So if they're melee and like say like a warrior, you're just running around and they can't keep up with you, right? I mean, the warrior has limited mobility with like charge and heroic leap and intervening his teammates, and as a demon hunter, you can easily outrun a warrior. Um, so that's kiting, right? Uh, Demon hunters have a lot of abilities, so we'll just go over some of those. As you know, I mean, you have two charges of Fel Rush, right? Fel Rush is just like it's literally a charge. You dash forward, and you can actually make some pretty good moves with it. If you're like in Blade's Edge Arena, you can Fel Rush from like one ramp to the other, and the warrior just kind of has to, I mean, he can charge, but he can most likely he's gonna have to like walk around, right? Um, Another ability, you have Vengeful Retreat. It does you do a backflip, right? But the backflip, what it does is it removes any slows that you have on you. It says not roots, right? It says snares. So what that means is like slows, right? Like movement speed reduction effects, like a hamstring, um, a concussive shot, like from a hunter, um, piercing howl also from a warrior, chains of ice from a from a death knight. Uh, Different slow abilities, right? Even the warlock legendary, when they put a corruption on you, right? That's a 50% movement speed reduction. That's what Vengeful Retreat is for. But something that is often overlooked as a new demon hunter is the fact that you do have a slow also, right? Built into your class. It's Vengeful Retreat if they're within like melee range of you. Their movement speed will be reduced by 70% for 3 seconds, right? So if a warrior does happen to, they call it connecting with you, right? Being able to attack and do whatever he does, right? Mortal Strike and executes and condemns. You can slow him by 70% for 3 seconds, right? And assuming he had like a hamstring or a piercing howl on you, a slow effect, uh, it'll be removed. And of course, he can't reapply it until he gets within melee range of you again, right? So you can Vengeful Retreat if they do connect with you. They're slow for set by 70% for 3 seconds, and you have different options at that point, right? You can Fel Rush away, which is like one of your main abilities. Um, you can even use your Soul Shape, assuming you're Night Fae, right? Soul Shape is a blink ability, so if you're familiar with the mage, you can blink, right? It throws you like 20. This one's 15 yards, right? 15 yards forward, and if you're rooted, also, right? You can also blink. You can't move. It won't remove the root from you, but let's say a druid, for example, uses roots on you, like entangling roots, right? And you're going for a kill or something, and you can soul shape actually. So if the druid, he doesn't move that. If the druid moves, let's say, at max 15 yards away, right? You can blink to him with soul shape, and you'll be in melee range, right? You can attack him, assuming he doesn't move an extra yard or so, and you can eye beam him. your Immolation Aura can hit him. You can throw Glaive, right? You can use, there's different ways to go around that, right? You can even reverse magic the roots, right? But back to your surviving and kiting, right? That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about going in for kills and mobility. Another way to move around too, you can use your Metamorphosis, right? That's like a last resort, I would say. Just because it's your biggest cooldown, right? Next to Hunt. I've used Metamorphosis for mobility purposes. Usually when I go up against like a Ret Paladin or a Warrior, right? I just happen to not have anything at the time except for that when the Warrior pops like his Avatar, right? Which is his big damage cooldown. Or if he throws Warbreaker on me, right? Which is, I mean, it's not that big of a cooldown, but next to Avatar, it is a big cooldown. Point is, those, you would use Metamorphosis in situations where your opponent, a melee opponent, right, has increased damage to you. It's pretty far leap, so they're just going to have to charge in a heroic leap. At that point, I mean, you can even stay until they catch up to you, and as they get closer, up until like they're 20 yards away from you, you can use Imprison, right? It'll put them in a Cyclone, and it'll take them out of the game, and you're just buying time, right? So while you're buying time, your healer most likely is topping you off, running to you, so that way they can throw some type of crowd control on the warrior or whoever that melee is, whether it be like a Hex, a Cyclone also, a Root, a Silence, a Sheep. Well, not a Sheep, we're talking about healers. A Hammer of Justice, a Blind, a something, right? I mean, something to stop the damage from happening to you. And while the damage is not happening to you, I mean, you're buying time for your stuff to come back up. There's a million different ways to be able to not get hit. You can even Fellblade. That's not even really a big one. I mean, you can Fellblade to, let's say, the other teammate, the other person's team, the other opponent, right? You can Fellblade to them if they're separate. You just always have to be on your toes, right? And running around. If you want to go into your PvP talents, there's also Rain from Above, right? You're not kiting, but you can use it defensively, right? Get into like a somewhat open area. So if you're like in the Grand Arena, right, you can stay like in the middle. You can even stay on one of the opposite sides that isn't in the starting room, like probably where the invisibility eyes spawn, right? And your healer can stand on the opposite side, so that way the warrior is forced to choose to either chase you or to chase the healer, right? But if you guys are on opposite sides of the room and you go up in the air, the warrior most likely would be at most maybe 10-15 yards away from you, right? As you're going up into the air, your healer's on the other side of the room. So the warrior is then forced to, he has to either wait there, he can line of sight, if not he's going to get hit from your Fell Lance from Rain from Above, or he can go on the healer, but by the time he catches up to the healer, I'm going to come back down. I can probably crowd control his healer or his other teammate, and he's going to be in trouble, right? You're always trying to avoid damage as a demon hunter, to make it simple, right? You can even use the arena maps to your advantage. Like if you have to use Metamorphosis for mobility, right? Let's say you're like in Mugambala or you're in Blade's Edge, you can be on the bottom, right? You can be on the bottom floor of the arena, and if you time it with like maybe a vengeful retreat, if you want to get it super complicated, right? I mean, you can slow them with vengeful retreat, leap up with metamorphosis to the second floor, tell your healer to meet you up there, or even keep you down there, right? Like a warrior per se can like heroic leap up there also, and then your healer can meet you down there, or if you're playing with a priest, they can grip or mind control, or there's just a different ways. The way I like to put surviving as a demon hunter, there's at least like 4 different ways to use each of your abilities, right? Whereas like I would say playing other classes, there's maybe like 1 or 2 ways you can use your abilities, right? But a demon hunter, you definitely have to be versatile in your approach to being able to defeat your opponents in arena. At least right now. At one point, yeah, you can just run in and spam buttons and win, but to be able to actually live for an extended amount of time as a demon hunter, you definitely have to look at every cooldown. You have to have a lot of game knowledge too, and understand the other classes as well if you want to live a long time. This video is about like 11 minutes now, but we can go over. You got Nether Walk too. You get 100% movement speed. That's more of like a last resort ability, not necessarily kiting. Yeah, you get 100% movement speed, and you can cyclone with it actually too. Not many people know that. You can Nether Walk, run, cyclone. By cyclone, I mean imprison the opponent. There's just like different ways to survive. I'll make another video on it, but for right now, that's what I got. Hopefully something I said helped. It's definitely rough right now as a demon hunter if you're in arena. Most likely you're the #1 target. You have high output damage, but if you're caught off guard or without any cooldowns, you're practically dead. You need your cooldowns to be able to live as a demon hunter. But that's all I got for now. I'll be making another video here in a little bit. And don't forget to follow my YouTube and my Twitch, twitch.tv/junk in my house. Give me a follow. I'll be streaming later today. Whenever you're watching this video, I stream every day. And I play Demon Hunter. Yep. I'll see you guys later. See ya.